Hi folks, I'm not sure what the weather is like where you are, but I know up here in Yorkshire we've had a week of fairly dark and dismal weather, not the type of weather to go out and take photographs of nature or indeed anything else. So I just thought I'd take this opportunity to do a little quick fill-in video of the kit that I use and the sort of the small minimalist approach I've had to photography in the last couple of months. I must say at the outset a special hello and a special thanks to a lady called Rachel up in County Durham. I won't give out Rachel's full address at the moment because I haven't spoken to her for a while, so she doesn't know this video is in the making. But if it wasn't for Rachel, I wouldn't have discovered the Olympus TG-6, and which I bought about 7 months ago, and which I'm using on a daily basis as much as I can in the interim. It's been an absolute revelation, and although my photography will never be up to it, I don't class myself as a photographer as such, but I really take so much pleasure in using this camera, and I have some other cameras and other systems, including a mirrorless, but it really beats the pants off anything else I've had for accessibility, ease of use, and basically getting out of it what you will. One of the wonderful features of the camera is onboard focus stacking for a compact. This is quite an amazing feature. Works very well, works fast, about 8 or 9 seconds to do it on board. And the results are as good as certainly I could ever expect. So without further ado, I'll progress to the little talk through and then maybe come back to you in a minute or two. Just to say as well, I don't have any connection directly or otherwise with Olympus. I certainly don't have any sponsorship, but if they wish, they know where to find me. I would always make that plain and clear in anything that I do. So this, although it references this camera exclusively, is not sponsored or doesn't have any direct connection with them. So let's get to it, and I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Bye. So first up, the camera itself, the Olympus TG-6 Tough. As is, out of the box, the only addition I have on this is a protective piece of glass, proprietary, glued to the back to protect the screen. Next up is something which I just have to hand, which is an old handle. It was a tripod, it was a mini tripod, it was broken, but I use it as a really firm grip on this camera, and I have hands the size of shovels, so it really helps in handling the camera out in the wild. To put everything in, to keep everything together when I'm out on a day's truck, I use these little tough bags, TUF, I think they're called Tiger Tough bags. I have gone through quite a few of them in my years, and they are amazingly waterproof. You can see what's in them. They're really worth having if you can spend 50p. I think you get them for about 50p or a pound these days. Next up, a lens pen with just a little brush and the felt pad on it. The brush retracts, and that fits conveniently into the little bag. I don't use a cloth. I find them just useless, to be quite honest. After that, I have a tweezers. I'll explain the purpose of this tweezers very briefly here. It's to remove small bits of stick, etc., from macro shots. It's a plastic one, so it'll never rot. And I think there again, these are cheap as chips, about a pound. Next up, a fully charged spare battery. Obviously out for a day, long way away from everywhere and nowhere to charge anything. And I don't like carrying a pack around. This is a normal necessity. That's a generic. I couldn't afford the real one. The next and last piece of little kit here is the ordinary SD card, a spare SD card, probably 3264 minimum. If you're going to be out and you're taking video, or you suddenly have a need to take video, you certainly need to have an extra card with you, or if the card fails. So there you go. That's the complete kit and the setup for a day out. 6-8 hours I've been out sometimes with this amount. Come back very happy with at least 3 or 4 decent shots. But there you go. That is my minimalist nature photo video capture kit. I'll come back to you in a moment. So there you go. That was a fairly swift walkthrough of the small amount of equipment that I carry with me on my ventures out, whether it be just for daily exercise or longer periods of days up in the dales, if and when we're allowed to do so. I hope you found it somewhat informative. I would love to hear your questions and queries at any stage, please come back to me. Just a few points on make about the camera. I suppose the reason I've done this is that I've had camera systems over the years, and I'm thrilled enough to have a mirrorless with me at the moment. But over time, I've found that spending, hours and hours and hours lugging around heavy gear really detracts from my experience of the day and actually makes me less inclined to take photographs, which is why I go out there on these ventures to begin with. So, having something that is in the hand, so to speak, or easily, taken out, and you could call this snapping. It's a compact camera after all, but then again, it has some, serious little features on board, which I find really fantastic. Again, the main one I find really helpful is the focus stacking. Takes up to 10 images in about 8 or 9 seconds, and compose them on the spot. So you end up with 2 images. You end up with the starting images, and then the one with the depth of field, which is, comparison is interesting to see when you download it. And, I use that constantly. I suppose half of my photography is macro nowadays because of this camera. It is an area that I'm fascinated in, to see the details of things that are commonly found around us, but when you look at them in detail, they always give me that sense of awe and wonder. So the idea here is that I won't rabbit on right now. Just to say it again, this is the basic kit. There's the camera with the handle, and this is the little pack that can fit into a jacket pocket. And I mean, weight-wise, we're talking sort of kilo, the whole thing, half a kilo. I don't know. I'll weigh it someday. But basically, I don't notice I have it when it's in the jacket I'm walking about. I'd say I'd love any feedback or any queries you have. I'm definitely going to make a couple more videos showing my approach to, nature photography when I'm actually out of this tiny cubbyhole of an office and out there where I love to be. So I'll do that in the next couple of weeks. It will be sort of 3 or 4 videos showing my approach to basically photography in my sense of the world and why I do it and what I do, which will be different, I guess, to a lot of people who have a more formal approach. Mine tends to be less formal, and I still get so much joy. And just to say, this camera has brought a bit of photographic fun back in my life, rather than sort of having to feel sometimes that I'm really under pressure to create images, because this is a really, I have with me, if I had with me a really good camera and a camera system, I don't know about you folks, but sometimes I find, gosh, I should be producing images like so-and-so or that person or something I've just seen in a magazine or whatever. So I won't wrap it on, just to wish you the very best of health, and keep safe, and talk to you soon in the next one. Bye.